Traders Village, Houston, has a small carnival-style amusement park located in the heart of this large flea market. When arriving, there was a constant line to pay for parking, for what seemed like most of the morning and well into the afternoon. But these guests will be here for the shopping, and not as much so for the amusement rides. But just how good of a ride lineup is this? Especially for a city like Houston that just needs more ride options. Find out everything you need to know to visit the rides at Traders Village, Houston, in this review. Traders Village is a set of flea markets with 3 locations in the major metro areas around Texas. Prairie Playland is the name given to the amusement park inside Traders Village Grand Prairie, which serves the Dallas Metroplex. There is another located in San Antonio, and this location is in Northwest Houston. With smaller parks, especially family entertainment centers, the price can be a bit too high for what you get. But Traders Village offers a very reasonable all-day wristband for $15, or $16.23 after tax. This is more expensive than the $11.99 wristband that San Antonio offers, but is still very affordable. There is a pay-per-ride option if you'd like to experience only 1 or 2 attractions, and at $3.29 plus tax, this is reasonable as well. I am pretty big on maximizing one's money through unlimited wristbands, but ride closures and some rides banning single riders could make the pay-per-ride option worthwhile if you just want to do a couple of rides. The important thing to note is that non-riders do not have to pay anything. So this is a great way for adults to get some shopping in and watch their kids have fun on some rides while not breaking the bank. There is a $6 parking fee, tax included, per vehicle that visits Traders Village. This mainly seems to be for the shoppers, as there are just going to be a lot of cars. Parking can be paid via credit card, which is good to know since I don't always carry cash around nowadays. With the flat ride lineup here, there was virtually no waits, and everything is really close together. So this is likely a park that will only take maybe an hour to do everything, if you're just focused on the rides. Most kids will gladly re-riding the rides though, and you can easily spend more time if you're willing to do just that. The attendants were friendly, and as long as there wasn't much of a line, you were completely free to remain on a ride and ride it again if you'd like. But going out and walking around still would be super easy, and it was seamless to bounce from ride to ride on my visit. The larger issue that I encountered was ride availability. As a single rider, they ban you from the Scrambler and Star Dance. This seems to be to help reduce the lines on them, but again, lines shouldn't be a huge issue. It also seems unfortunate that this isn't communicated on the website. Like, the Scrambler has this literally written onto the ride itself, but that is not included in the picture on the website. From riding similar rides at the Prairie Playland location, the Scrambler is a tamer version, so it is solid for families or adults, and not seeking too crazy of a time on a spinning attraction. Star Dancer is a neat observation ride that goes a bit higher than these normally would, so you get a nice calm view of the entire market. The ride collection features a nice mixture of kiddie rides that seems perfect for younger kids looking for a little bit of thrills. The play gym, the rumpus room, is a nice touch for the youngest of guests, but was closed on my visit. It is my guess that it is simply closed on slower days. There is Bouncer, a kiddie drop tower, which despite being an adult now, are always one of my favorites to ride, though this too was closed for maintenance, with it being actively worked on during my visit. They have a trackless train that will go around the property, a fun touch for the kids, but again, that was closed as well. Jumping Jumbos is a cute Dumbo-style ride that even has a cute narration about elephants flying that plays at the start. Despite implying that adults cannot ride on the website, adults are free to ride this unrestricted. The up and down lever did make this process a bit slow, so you can't get good bounces on the directional change, but it is meant to be a calm kiddie ride, with a short cycle, while being a bit newer than the helicopter version that can be found at Prairie Playland. Of course, there is a classic carousel for everyone to enjoy. It does have a seat belt, so it's a bit tight for adults, and doesn't really have any memorable forces. As well as a nice set of bumper cars that have quality cars, but they just weren't as much fun with not being able to run into the walls, as bumping the other cars will be indirect and pretty insulated on most of your bumps. Other versions where I've bumped the walls on these have been really fun. They are pretty dizzying if you spin them around though, and those straight-on collisions can be pretty powerful, but they're just not excellent like maybe they could be. For larger rides, you have Pharaoh's Fury, which is a solid swinging ship that didn't hurt me too much with positive G's on the downward swings, as they sometimes do. So I was able to enjoy the airtime on the upward swings, though this was more of a tingling feeling instead of better airtime. The positive G's on the slowing down portion did hurt slightly, and this seemed to take a pretty long time. Yo-Yo looks to be a solid swing ride, which are always enjoyable spinning rides. However, it was also closed on my visit, so I was unable to experience it. This seems to be par for Trader's Village, as I also missed the Yo-Yo at Prairie Playland because it was closed as well. The lack of additional thrill flat rides does hurt, as Prairie Playland has both a Wipeout and a Larson Loop to add just a bit more for thrill seekers. Both are lacking here, so you just have these two rides plus Flea Fall. Flea Fall, though, is a very solid drop tower, despite its rather modest height. The attendant pushed my restraint down tightly, but I still got a really good drop that seemed to last a pretty long time. The visual of going up while the ride cycles beneath you is pretty unnerving. And you spend a long time at that intermediate height of about 50 feet or so, which really messes with my fear of heights. Then you have that solid drop that you can expect from ARM towers like this. The park does ask you to secure loose articles, but doesn't really have any bins for phones or anything like that, so they seem pretty relaxed about this. I was able to use my chest-mounted GoPro on the rides, though this did not seem to need prior permission as per the Grand Prairie location. One benefit of this park is the various food stalls scattered throughout the property. Many of these seem to be local Mexican or Hispanic food, which is likely very solid to try. There is also an air-conditioned Subway and Joe's Burgers for those looking for more traditional American food or just to take a break from the hot sun. Right next to the rides is a Thai stall. They also have this at the Grand Prairie location, but it was closed on my visit. So I just had to try their pork on a stick, as that is one of my favorite Thai street foods. This version was different from the Isan version that I'm used to, as it was mainly focused on flavored meat, whereas I'm used to more of a sweet flavor on the pork. Still, it was well worth trying, even if it's closer to 120 baht instead of say 20 or 30 baht like you'd find in Thailand. Their other food options are cheap as well, so I got a chicken bowl, which did have a lot of chicken and comes with coleslaw for some strange reason. For both dishes, it was $12.74 after tax, and it really was a lot of food. The food prices overall seem to be around the $10 a plate range, which is reasonable, though like Six Flags, most dishes did not include a drink. I also didn't do much shopping, but did walk around to see the various number of stalls that sell things from clothes, to records, to furniture, to birds. With people here for the shopping experience, there likely are good deals that you can find, but I'm just not a big on shopping, and nothing particularly caught my eye, making me want to really stop and look at stuff. Overall, how good is Traders Village Houston? This is a nice vibe, quick operations, and is a collection of family flat rides so that kids can enjoy playing for a few hours while their parents shop. With few places like this in the Houston area, it is certainly worth a visit, and kids looking for a few good flat rides can have a great time for a reasonable price. As a single rider, there are limitations, and that combined with ride closures can make it less of an enjoyable day than maybe it should be, especially with a lack of thrill rides. The Landry properties around Houston will have a bit more, whether it's Shark Voyage, Boardwalk Bullet, or Iron Shark, though those wristbands will just cost slightly more. What are your thoughts on Traders Village Houston? If you've gotten any good deals while shopping here, let me know, as I'm just curious about that aspect of this park as well. And, as always, Cup Kun Krab.
I guess we gotta move stuff.